Welcome to A Moment of Xen. Time to sit back and relax as model, actress, mentor, and supermom Xen Sams takes you on a sexy and wild ride, covering the latest in film, fashion, pop culture, cryptocurrency, fintech, cannabis, and entertainment from the millennial mom's perspective. Here's your host, Xen Sams.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area and beyond. You're listening to A Moment of Xen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Xen Sams, celebrating 6 years on air and marking episode 243. It's truly a pleasure to spend my time with you on the airwaves. Thank you for tuning in every Saturday night and for engaging with me on social media. That connection is what makes all of this worthwhile. Continue to follow me at Xen Sams. That's Xen with an X, not a Z. And remember, all of our episodes stream Sundays at 2 p.m. on YouTube and on your home TV at mox.yourhometv.com. Welcome back. Alongside our experts on the microphone, we explore film, fashion, pop culture, cryptocurrency, cannabis, fintech, health, and yes, everything in between, always through the lens of the millennial mom's perspective. In the Going Deep segment brought to you by CO2 Lift, we're featuring Lindsay Marais. Lindsay Marais is a celebrity facialist, licensed medical esthetician, and the founder of Killer Skin. Today, she joins me to talk about her secrets to creating radiant, glass-like skin, tackling the journey from the outside in and the inside out. In the Clean Collective Express segment brought to you by Society Brands and Crunchy Collection, we're going to address the hot-button topic in the world of clean beauty, talc. The segment is going to underscore why Crunchy's no-compromise ingredients policy matters and why transparency is the future of beauty. In the Better, Brighter You segment brought to you by Cispera, we're featuring Kendra Tillman. The Dallas Glow Code is our headliner, how one aesthetic visionary is changing the way we treat pigment, melasma, and modern aging. We're diving deep into the pigment puzzle that affects millions of women worldwide. In the Elevated Experiences segment brought to you by MTK Group NY, we're featuring Michael Kaminsky and Alanna Stetson. Michael Kaminsky has over 35 years of expertise. He's built MTK into a powerhouse across hospitality, casino operations, private aviation, entertainment, and high-end travel. With him is partner Alanna Stetson, VP and logistics manager, who began her journey under Michael's mentorship and now helps lead MTK's expanding global travel division, where precision, polish, and hospitality define every experience. Today, we're going to be exploring the future of curated travel, luxury partnerships, and the MTK ecosystem. In the Brain Blueprint segment brought to you by the Melillo Centers for Developing Minds, today's conversation leans into a question so many parents ask quietly in fear. Why isn't my child talking? Dr. Robert Melillo is a world-renowned clinician, founder of the Melillo Centers, best-selling author, and creator of the Brain Balance Program. He joins us to break down the science behind developmental delays and brain-body imbalance. And with him is Joelle Lahlouh, a global fitness creator, autism-voice advocate, and mother of Mounir and Maria, using her platform to educate, inspire, and normalize the autism journey for families worldwide. We're exploring how movement can rewire communication pathways and why healing is more possible than parents have been led to believe. In the Hydration with Heart segment brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut, with me is Anissa, Brooklyn-born, globally streamed, and one of the most recognizable voices rising out of New York City's new wave of pop soul storytelling. Today, she's here to share why Once Upon a Coconut is her go-to hydration on the road and in studio, and why keeping her vocals, skin, and body nourished is non-negotiable for an artist with her demanding schedule. Stay tuned for Dr. Robert Melillo and Joelle chatting autism, rewiring the brain, and pathways to speech. You're listening to A Moment of Xen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Xen is brought to you by Westbridge Academy in Essex County, where students are seen, heard, and understood. Neurodiverse K-12 students, many facing ADHD, anxiety, depression, or aggression, discover strength through connection. With compassionate educators, therapeutic support, and the latest technology, students can master academics and go further, exploring music production, financial and automotive literacy, social media awareness, and wellness. Visit westbridgeacademy.org to learn more.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Xen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Xen Sams. Welcome back to the Brain Blueprint segment brought to you by the Melillo Centers for Developing Minds. Today's conversation asks the bold question every parent has whispered in worry. Why isn't my child talking? We're going to take that question deeper. We're going to go into the science of how movement, environment, and neuroplasticity work together to repattern the brain. Joining us is world-renowned Dr. Robert Melillo, founder of the Melillo Centers for Developing Minds and best-selling author of Disconnected Kids. For over 3 decades, he's been a pioneer in understanding how environmental stressors and brain-body disconnection shape developmental delays and autism spectrum disorders. And joining him, we welcome Joelle Lahlouh, a global fitness creator, autism-voice advocate, and proud mom to Mounir and Maria. Through her platform, joellelahlouh.fitness, she's inspired over 65,000 followers worldwide with messages of strength, humor, and heart. Together, we're going to unpack how movement and environmental awareness can help rewire communication, cognition, and connection in children, and remind parents that healing is possible. Welcome to the show, superstars.
Hello.
Thank you for having us.
All right. Joelle, I'm going to start with you. Now, Dr. Melillo often says that every developmental delay has a why. So the CDC now reports that 1 in 36 children is identified with autism spectrum disorder, which is a 300% increase since the early 2000s. And many parents first notice subtle delays like speech, motor coordination, eye contact long before diagnoses. So, Joelle, when did you first start recognizing your own whys with Mounir? And how did movement become part of how you interpreted what his body and brain were trying to say?
I started recognizing when I stopped asking why him, and then I started asking why me. So I accepted the journey as it is and understanding him as he is. And instead of constantly like trying to fix him or trying to find that why, I just decided to step in and walk alongside with him. Till now, he's very limited to his speech. So it's basically understanding his body, his movement, his body movement, to understand exactly what the brain is trying to tell me when he's irritated, when he's sad, when he's upset, when he's hungry. So just, reading through those gestures and trying to understand him. And instead of trying to always like fix him and asking that question, why, how can I be how can I make his life easier for him? Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, that's moving because you're reframing movement as language, a way children
it is a way of communication, obviously. Yes,
that's right.
Yeah.
It's a way children communicate before they can verbalize. I know that Dr. Melillo is all about this. Take it away, Dr. Melillo.
Yeah. So for the audience, with Joelle, her son, there's 2 different major subsets of autism. One is called syndromic and the other is non-syndromic, meaning that there are some children that do have some genetic mutations that are also diagnosed with autism. And it's a little bit different. It adds a little bit of complication, but the thing that you found, which I love, as Xen just said, is, I'm all about movement, and movement is what actually stimulates the brain. So, from your perspective as both mother and a fitness professional, because you do this yourself, what changes have you observed in your son's behavior or communication since you've incorporated consistent, intentional movements into his routine? And you can give us an idea what those look like.
Okay, so I always believe like when the body moves forward, the brain moves forward as well. Movement really releases endorphins, dopamine, serotonin to the body, and all of this give you mental clarity, and it makes you a happier person. When Mounir was ready, I started to incorporate proper movement into his routine because autistic kids, they love routine, so it started becoming a routine. So at the beginning, he was like, reluctant. He didn't want to do it. But then with time and consistency, he started doing it. I noticed that his mood shifted. So that connection between the brain and the body was there. And then his mood shifted. His sleep patterns were better. His confidence boosted. So he was actually trying more because now he's capable, he's able, whether it was swimming, exercises. It's also us going to playgrounds, going out, always being on the move, always stimulating the brain. And not overstimulating, just stimulating exactly to where it has to be stimulated.
And when you look at the research in Frontiers in Integrative Neuroscience shows that coordinated movement strengthens communication between the cerebellum and the prefrontal cortex regions, which are tied to speech, focus, and social behavior. So movement is truly neurological medicine.
Yeah, as you're talking about everything that I talk about, one is, why are children delayed in speaking? And I'm sure a lot of this you kind of found on your own from reading, because a lot of other, traditional doctors on there don't know anything about movement or really understand the sensory systems. And what we see typically, especially with kids that have language delays, is they really don't feel their body and they don't really have a representation of their body. And many of them are very delayed in some of their motor milestones. So it seems like you just had an instinct that we got to get him to move and get him to feel his body better. So, from that perspective, have you noticed specific physical activities beyond what you've said or sensory patterns that directly correlate with improvement in your child's speech, attention, or emotional regulation? Like, when did he actually start to be able to speak? And do you feel it was related to what you were doing?
I've always been like prompting him to do a lot of things. So I feel like the turning point was basically when he started building that confidence. And when he started building that confidence, he was able to try more, So I also think like a big role plays is how much we empower them and how much we believe in them and how that reflects onto them. So like he does a lot of, for example, Mounir didn't walk until he was 4 years old. And how he started walking was because I used to take him swimming every single day for a month and a half. Every single day. I did not stop. And then all of a sudden one day he put his hands up on the border of the pool. He got up and then he started walking. So it was such a beautiful moment. So I feel like all incorporating all that movement into his life is what's getting him to where he can get, So
I have chills because I almost cried when you said he got up and walked. Like
yeah, it was
brought.
it was so beautiful. Like it was
I
the
mean,
best day.
just for the audience, I mean, typically a child should walk at 1 year of age, right? So to walk at 4 years,
Yeah.
and we talk about, and I'm sure you read in my book, why are they delayed with that? And often it's because of these things called retained primitive reflexes that are really preventing their movement, but it's also preventing the maturity and development of their brain. I noticed that you've said that your child is, obviously very immature in his brain right now, which literally our research shows is physically what's actually happening.
Yeah. Yes.
We're going to go into the toxicity of our environment now. So I was studying this segment, and when I read that according to the National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences, certain toxins, pesticides, heavy metals, even household pollutants interfere with early brain development. But the empowering part is that our lifestyle choices can tip the balance back toward healing, right? So you've spoken about living cleaner through diet, through mindful exercise, and those toxin-free habits. What changes have you made at home that most impacted Mounir's energy and focus?
So it's all about, with Mounir, it's all about clean eating. So we try as much as we can as to keep him with a balanced diet, making sure he's getting enough supplements. I've done the test for the heavy metals. I've actually done that test to see like the levels of heavy metals, and thankfully it was the results were good. So whatever we were doing, it was working. So what we do is very balanced diet. We make sure that he's eating all of the vitamins that he needs, all of the the proteins and everything that he needs. Obviously, it's a little bit more challenging for us just because he doesn't chew the food, so everything has to be fully mashed. So it's harder, but at the same time it's easier because we can actually give him all the vitamins and the supplements that he needs.
What you just said is such practical wisdom, because whether you're detoxing your space or you're detoxing your body, that truly does detox the stress levels, right? Because all of that is added. And Dr. Melillo, I'm curious to know how much of your practice and your method focuses on diet.
Yeah, a large amount of it. I mean, we have really 3 main areas that we focus on all of our patients. Number one is movement and sensory, right? So getting the movement, especially working with foundational movements like primitive reflexes, core stability, building strength, body awareness, and then vestibular input. So all of that, then the diet and nutrition, or the neuroimmune part, because again, what my research is about is that, people are told that everything starts in the gut. It doesn't. It actually starts in the brain. It starts in the way the brain regulates the gut and the maturity of the gut. And that also regulates the balance in the immune system. So this is what can lead to specific food sensitivities. And that's why it's important. What we do is, we really do blood tests on everybody to check what antibodies they have against foods. A lot of people do general diets like, a GAPS diet, or they just eliminate dairy and gluten. But not everybody has a sensitivity to dairy and gluten, and not everybody has sensitivities to a lot of foods. So the only way to know is really by doing a blood test to look at that. And that's important. So that's a large part. And then we always have a cognitive component, whether it's working with speech or a letter board or doing neurofeedback or working with cognitive exercises. We have that component of it too.
Right.
We've
Yeah.
done the blood test. Yeah, I know what you're talking. We've done that blood test.
Yeah. So that's,
Yeah.
that's the best way to do it, because every child and every person has their own individual needs.
True.
So, again, you talked about communication. And for me, obviously you've read my book, you understand the concept of the right and left hemisphere and how they need to work together, and, how the left hemisphere is usually overactive in many kids on the autism spectrum, leading to things like tics or stimming or OCD. But also, their speech, and it can be confusing as to why they don't speak. So we talk about their right brain being delayed and not feeling their body. And that is related to, why he has trouble, with moving his mouth or swallowing or chewing. And many of them may have primitive reflexes like rooting and sucking reflexes there. But the right brain is ultimately what generates conversation. So all of that is things that I think you've incorporated into there. But one of the right brain things that we do is just general movement in general, and so the environment really creates a lot of stimulation. So how do you think modern environmental stressors in your home, like screen time, artificial lighting, chronic overstimulation, affect your child's developing neurological balance? And what do you do at home to be able to avoid using or avoiding that type of stimulation?
We limit a lot of screen time for Mounir, because I know like the kids these days are all overstimulated, too much noise, too much information, too much to do. So for Mounir specifically, I'm not against screen time. I do give him screen time, but I also monitor what he watches, because I know the things that trigger him, and I know the things like that might annoy him. So so Mounir, the story of the iPad. So Mounir learned all of the flags of the world, and he was actually on an episode. All of the flag, he can name every single flag of the world, and he learned that through his iPad. So everything he watches on his iPad with screen time, it's educational. So that's the way I do it, and we just limit screen time as much as we can. And what we do is rather we take him out most of the time, so it's better to connect with nature, go outside, go for walks, these kinds of routines. And specifically, we limit screen time before sleeping so that the brain can actually calm down and have a good night's sleep. So basically, all of like the lighting at a certain timing, it has to be a certain lighting. Sometimes when he's overstimulated and he's very like he's like in that bad zone, what we do, I have a sensory room inside where I have like the light lamps, the colorful calming light lamps. So we put that, and we just close the lights. We use pressure points on his body to calm him down when he's having that tantrum, when he's just overstimulated. And he loves music. He loves like that calm music. It has to be there's an app called Calm. So I put it for him, and he listens to calm music, and he just, calms down.
You are doing everything right. Dr. Melillo, like, listen to this woman. I'm just, I love everything she's saying, and she's self-taught. And of course your book has guided her in some capacity, but I think that the proactiveness you have taken is so rewarding to listen to, and the reason why Mounir is thriving. It begins with you.
I got goosebumps now.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's why, what I try to do is just give information, but moms, how they take it and how they use it, moms and dads together, Really, it always amazes me. That's why I love listening and talking to people like yourself to say, okay, you read my book, but how are you using it? Do you think anybody ever tried to explain to you what's actually happening in your child's brain at any point?
No, what we did was basically what we did was an EEG because, EEG, but from like, I'm not a doctor, but I would assume an autistic brain EEG is not going to come out like any other EEG. I don't know. But I spoke to the
Yeah,
doctor.
we've actually published research on that, and it just
Yeah.
shows that their brain is immature. Not all of them have seizure activity or things like that, but their brain waves are slower, and
Yeah.
they're slower specifically on the right more than the left. But yeah, so there is a difference in that. But we've also shown in our research that we can change that.
Okay. Yeah, I read about that. So, but then the doctor just told me, he should be on medication. But I was like, but it's not seizures. And then I went to another doctor, and there was another doctor who told me he need medication. I just refused to give medication because I know the medication as well. When I did the research and I read books, and I know that the medicine will actually slow him down even more. And I don't want my child to be even because I'm just moving forward with him as much as I can. So, and then eventually, just to tell you, like the tics completely disappeared. I wish he was here right now so you could meet him. But like really so much improvement. Eye contact improved. Like everything, all of this is because I think by reading your book, taking your tips and checking what works for us, it's like so yeah.
Well, you're doing everything right. And the statistics and the research back it up. I mean, Harvard Neuroscience has confirmed that neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself, remains active throughout life. So that means every moment of movement, play, or learning is an opportunity to create new wiring. That's the basis of everything. So for parents listening who feel discouraged, what would you say about patience, about consistency, and about believing in your child's potential to change?
Being patient and being consistent. Sometimes you might not see results immediately, but results are happening. It's magically happening. We can't be in a rush. We got to be patient. We got to wait for it. It's at their own time, at their own pace. And like I got a lot of moms who ask me like, how do you do it? Like, how are you so patient? I'm like, I'm walking with him, and I'm learning from him, and I'm trying to teach him as much as I know, but everything takes time. And believing in my child, I think empowering them and believing in them, it resonates. Your child knows how you feel about them, what you think about them. So that you believing in them resonates and reflects onto them. So a lot of times I take my son out of his comfort zone to do something that I know he can do, and breaking that barrier of fear from his brain to his body in doing that thing. And once he does it and he's so proud of himself that he does it, he's like, oh my God, now I can do it. And the next time he does it again. I posted a video of me pushing him to do something. And then I got a lot of negative comments on it, like, why are you doing this? You shouldn't be doing this. This is gonna traumatize your son. But in the video, it clearly shows my son saying, I'm scared, me knowing that he can do it, believing in him, pushing him to do it, and then him smiling about it, that he actually did it. And the next time he went by himself. And it's the same with everything. So that believe in your child, that consistency, you keep showing up, you keep pushing. So
Beautifully said.
yeah.
What you said is so beautiful. It's that blend of hope and science that parents need to hear right now. And there are options. You're not just stuck in a world with no options. And I feel like when you get a diagnosis like this, the world comes crashing down. But this is such proof that it doesn't have to. Dr. Melillo at the heart of it all.
Yeah, a lot of parents, and I understand it, when they have a child with disability, they try to protect them and, wrap them in bubble wrap. And that's a mistake. You need to push that child just like you would any other child. You need to push them out of their comfort zone so that they can grow in a safe way and build resilience. But also that's how you build confidence, as everything that you were talking about. It's so important because there are so many people out there, like the people that commented to you, oh, you're going to traumatize them. And it's the exact opposite. So along with that, what advice would you give to parents who feel overwhelmed to help them begin integrating small but meaningful movement-based practices into their child's lives and be consistent with it?
Like I would say maybe create a routine, like, because kids with autism, they love routine. So that's what I did with Mounir. So it was always about creating a routine. And just like, for example, if you want to create movement, you can go out. I know sometimes it's really hard going out with our kids. It's not as easy. But then when we come back to, your brain gets used to it, and then you know that every day, let's say I'm going to go for a walk at this certain time, and you can incorporate singing, you can incorporate make it a fun experience, so that it's when the next day you're going to do it again, they know that this is going to be a fun experience. It's not about doing big things, it's just small things. I think that would be it. Like, and going to playgrounds. Like for Mounir, I say again, I take him a lot to playgrounds. I keep him moving. And like, I know also the timings. I know that if there's too much people, he's not going to be as cooperative. So I make sure there's less people there. When we go swimming, I make sure like, okay, it's not going to be too crowded, because I still have to respect his emotion and his feelings, because if I want him to thrive, I don't want him to be overstimulated as well. So it's just knowing your child, and just knowing what you could do for him to, like, help him be more, let's say, move more, and be even like included more in all the activities that you do as well.
Well, that's one of the things that I always found, and I tell parents that, and I see that you do that, where you incorporate yourself, and it seems like your
Yes.
husband, and I'm sure even your daughter, because I always tell parents, don't make this one child do exercises that nobody else is doing, because then they may feel like they're being punished. Whereas if you do it as a group, it feels like a family thing, and they
Yes.
love that, and then it becomes something enjoyable, and it's good for the whole family, and it builds those bonds. And you did it where you became literally a fitness expert and served as an example, which is really amazing.
Thank you so much. I always say do it with them. So I always do everything. I'm 42 years old. I cannot go on slides anymore. I feel my body.
Oh,
My
God.
body's breaking, but I go. They can do anything. We just got to believe in them.
You are
Really.
such a beautiful soul. I want to hug you right now. I wish I could come through the screen, because
Thank you so much.
you took lemons and turned them into lemonade, so to speak. You are leading, and because of you, he's thriving. Like, I could feel this child's happiness through you, which is so unique. And it takes moms like yourself. We interviewed another mom last couple of weeks ago, Dr. Melillo's patient, Emma's mom, Cindy. Same beautiful attitude. And I think that the moms in the equation are the most important, because like Dr. Melillo said, once you understand the information, it's what you do with it and how you apply it day to day. And that makes all the difference. I mean, this has been such an enlightening and heart-centered discussion. Dr. Melillo, thank you for guiding us through the why. And Joelle, I mean,
Thank you so much.
Thank you for showing us how love and movement can really transform the journey. This is beautiful.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
To learn more, you can visit drrobertmelillo.com and follow him on the gram at Dr. Robert Melillo for expert insights on brain development and neuroplasticity. And to connect with Joelle, you could find her directly on Instagram at Joelle Lahlouh.fitness for daily motivation, family-friendly workouts, and autism awareness. You're listening to A Moment of Xen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. That was the Brain Blueprint segment brought to you by the Melillo Centers for Developing Minds, only on A Moment of Xen. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Xen is brought to you by Tortora Promotions, specializing in white glove digital marketing, social media management, professional videography, and PR services. Based in New York City and partnering with hundreds of businesses nationwide, they deliver proven strategies that bring more customers through the door. If your old marketing methods aren't keeping up, Tortora Promotions can step in to help you stay ahead. Grow your brand and drive real results. Reach out today and follow them on Instagram at Tortora Promotions. Your business deserves it.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Xen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Welcome back to the Going Deep segment brought to you by CO2 Lift. Today, we're featuring Lindsay Marie, a celebrity facialist, licensed medical esthetician, and the founder of Killer Skin. She's also known as the acne and glass skin specialist at the LA Facialist, and she has spent over 15 years helping people transform stubborn skin into clear, glowing complexions. And going one step further, now she's bringing her expertise to everyone with her new skincare line, Killer Skin. She's going to join me right now to chat all about her secrets on how to achieve glowing, radiant skin, tackling it from both the outside and inside. Welcome to the show, Stenner.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. So let's start with your own journey. You've been very open about struggling with acne and sensitive skin from adolescence well into adulthood. And only after taking matters into your own hands, you developed a skincare regimen that not only transformed your skin, but has now attracted countless celebrity clients with glowing testimonials. I read from Mandy Moore to Benny Blanco to Kieran and Shipka. I mean, now known as the acne and glass skin specialist. Now we know where that came from. What's your philosophy? What's your philosophy on transforming problematic skin into clear complexions? And how has your personal skincare journey shaped that?
Gosh, well, I am such a huge believer in treating the skin from the inside out, getting to the root of the issue of what's causing the skin issue, whether it's inflammation or acne. You know, a lot of times these issues are coming from something deeper rather than just something on the surface. So whether it's like a pathogen or a parasite or mold poisoning, there's so many factors that go into skin issues that sadly a lot of other providers aren't checking. And that's where it stemmed from for me was, you know, I had terrible acne and eczema and just all these issues, and every provider I went to was treating me with the same protocols and the same lasers and the same medications. And nobody was really checking, you know, the deeper things like my gut health, or if it was suspected to be my hormones, they'd just throw a pill at me and not try to actually balance things naturally. So long version short, treating from the inside out and mixing holistic with medical grade topical.
That's such a powerful reminder, right? That our greatest struggles often come in our life's calling, right? You had to go through something really personal. And I love how you took something that caused you pain and turned it into purpose. That's the kind of story that inspires people to not just give up on themselves, but you found your calling to have an incredible career. And that's why you're so successful.
Gosh, I'm so grateful to help people because I know how debilitating it can be. So
well, you're doing a fantastic job. And especially at the LA Facialist, we had her on not long ago. Yes. You guys are a great team. And after 15 and a half years working one-on-one with these amazing clients, you've now taken this next step. So recently, let's talk about this. You launched your own skincare line, Killer Skin, with its flagship product, Killer Balm. So what inspired you to take this next step, expanding your expertise outside the treatment room per se? And what makes your Killer Balm such a fast rising favorite?
I've always used supplements to help my clients achieve clarity. And one of the main supplements that I've been suggesting for years and years has been oregano oil.
I take 2 capsules a day.
Yes, we love that. Having such great success internally, having people take oregano oil, you know, I wanted to take it a step further, and I started playing around with formulas, and I started sampling my clients, and this has been years now, a formula that has oregano oil along with other antibacterial and antimicrobial, antifungal, antioxidant properties, but with something that has a barrier support formula with it. It was clearing my clients so quickly, and they loved it so much that they were begging me for more samples. And I, you know, at this point, I had no choice. I'm like, I have to make this in bulk, you know? And because it's helped so many people, I figured, you know, I really want to make this available to everyone, not just those who can come in for a facial in LA.
It's really refreshing to see a product line born from real hands-on experience rather than just marketing. So now let's pivot and talk about another popular treatment, CO2 lift. Both the CO2, yeah, I know. We started off with, because both the CO2 Lift Pro Carboxy Gel Treatment and Carboxy Mousse Moisturizer are offered at your practice. And even just earlier this year, I saw your client, Benny Blanco, talking about the mousse in an interview. So clearly it's getting love from your celebrity clientele too. So when treating clients or even in your own routine, how do you incorporate CO2 lift, and what kind of results have you seen in terms of skin healing and renewal?
Well, first of all, the results are unmatched. Second of all, I have the CO2 mousse on right now and I'm glowing.
And you're glowing, and you are glowing.
Thank you. But honestly, I have incorporated CO2 for years in my treatments. I've been able to get away with so much more extraction wise, peels wise, because of it cutting the healing time in half. I feel like that is such a bold statement that I can make to my clients where they're wanting to take that home immediately after treatment and they're using it. And I instruct them to do it once a week for 3 weeks and then once a month after that for maintenance. And always before events, the night before an event, it's like a no-brainer. All of my clients do it the night before an event, and they're seeing less inflammation, less redness, sped up healing time, even great for acne, like the inflammatory acne. I mean, the results have been insane. And I even have a before and after photo of a huge scrape on my face that it healed in 2 days. And the mousse has just been a great, easy addition because it's like a mini carboxy treatment daily.
I mean, skin renewal that you can see and feel, right, is exactly what people are craving, especially in an age where we're bombarded with filters and false perfection. It's good to know that there are treatments that actually restore skin health on a cellular level, which I love, that are clinically verified, clinically researched. They check all their boxes. Now, moving on, I know you are a big proponent of holistic care as well. Many people don't realize that skincare can be approached from both the outside and inside, like you mentioned earlier, and pairing medical grade skincare, whether it's your killer balm or CO2 lift with holistic care, can also make all the difference. So, Lindsay, how do you incorporate holistic care into your treatments, and why do you think it's such an important part of achieving lasting skin health?
Gosh, I feel like it's really the only true way to get long-lasting results because you can put all the amazing topical medical grade products on and it'll give you temporary results, but you're never getting to the root of the issue. So when clients come to see me, I always ask about what's going on internally, what their lifestyle's like, and I adjust accordingly. And along with the routine that I send them home with for topical skincare, they'll get a morning and night routine for their skincare routine, but they're also going to go home with a list of supplements or teas or diet recommendations that they should follow depending on what their ailments are and what their goals are. So it's almost like a non-negotiable. You're going to get an internal protocol when you come see me.
Yeah, it's exactly. And our skin is our skin is our largest organ. According to the American Academy of Dermatology, there's over 50 million Americans that are currently struggling with acne every year. So what we put into our bodies, not just onto our skin, is critical to your point. And I love that you champion both sides of the equation.
Yes, they work so well together. You know, one without the other, it's just not the full spectrum of care.
I've been taking Armor Colostrum, and that's also great for your gut microbiome. So that's also a nice, good addition. Now, going back to products and treatments, I think it's important to note for those out there listening with a 15-step skincare routine that often less is actually more. So while there are millions of products and treatments on the market, the key to healthy glowing skin often just lies in simplicity and focusing on just a few powerhouse products and treatments. So what's your advice for creating a routine that actually delivers results without overcomplicating things amidst the constantly changing trends and product hype?
Well, number one, stay away from those trends and all the viral products. You really need to, I'm not knocking any of them, but you really need to either work with somebody who can customize a skin treatment for you and simplify it for you. And my number one thing that I think every single person needs to work on with their skin is something, is to treat inflammation. And inflammation is really the root of all evil when it comes to skin ailments. And that's where CO2 comes in. It's extremely anti-inflammatory. So if I had to choose one thing or one ailment to work on, it would be inflammation. And that's how you can simplify it. And I almost always will recommend the mask or the mousse to start at least.
Yeah. Yeah, that treatment is incredible. And now that the treatment is coupled with the mousse, I'm very, very excited. And it's a relief to hear because most people feel overwhelmed by the noise in the industry. It's almost like skincare has become another form of consumer stress. I mean, your advice to simplify and focus is empowering, and it means a lot. Now, the last question before we wrap up. So skincare is so much more than skin deep. It really can affect how we feel day to day, our confidence, and really how we show up in the world. So in your experience, how does achieving clear, healthy, and that glowing skin that you're like right now impact someone emotionally? And how have you seen the transformations you create truly change lives?
Gosh, well, I have seen so many amazing, beautiful, blossoming stories. I mean, even myself, I was scared to leave the house. It can be truly debilitating when your skin is not acting right. And just with several of my clients, I've seen such success stories where, they were scared to leave the house, crying every day. It was affecting their jobs to once they're clear. I mean, I see them, they're out in the world, they're posting, they're doing the most, they're getting either campaigns or shows or even those. It doesn't have to be anybody in the spotlight, but I'm seeing them feel more confident and wanting to show up in the world. And it really is a beautiful thing because going from being depressed and having this debilitating, feeling like you're sick almost and not wanting to get out of the house to just wanting to show off your skin and show up is just, it's so beautiful to see.
Yeah. And beautifully said, because confidence is contagious. And when
It
someone
really
and when someone feels good in their own skin, they radiate differently. I always say skin may be on the outside, but healing it can transform the inside. And that's the essence of self-care.
Of course.
Well, we are at the end of we are officially at the end of our date, Lindsay, my dear. We could continue talking for another 30 minutes. I'd love to have you back on at some point, but you are so refreshing and so full of great advice. I can't wait to come visit you, but I also can't wait to try your killer bomb.
Please come visit and you will get some killer bomb very soon.
That was our Going Deep segment brought to you by CO2 Lift, and that was the incredible celebrity facialist and licensed medical esthetician, Lindsay Marais. And you can learn more about her at Lindsay Marais, advancedskincare.com, and you can follow her directly on the gram at It's Lindsay Marais, Maree. And you definitely want to check out her skincare line at killerskin.com and on the gram at killerskin.co. You're listening to A Moment of Xen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Xen is brought to you by CO2 Lift. As we age, our skin loses moisture and elasticity, causing wrinkled skin. You can reverse this aging process with CO2 Lift. CO2 Lift utilizes the powerful benefits of carbon dioxide to lift, tighten, and regenerate your skin. This simple, painless at-home carboxytherapy treatment is scientifically proven to reverse the aging process. You will see reduction in wrinkles, increase luminosity, and improve pigmentation, sagging, skin tone, and radiance.
For more information or to order CO2 Lift, ask your skincare professional or go to co2lift.com.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Xen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Today's feature is all about luxury in motion, the lifestyle ecosystem of MTK Group right here in New York City. It's a company that's redefining how we experience hospitality, travel, and entertainment across all of New York State. Welcome to the Elevated Experiences segment brought to you by MTK. Now, according to recent data from Statista, the global luxury travel market surpassed $1.3 trillion last year in 2024, and it's projected to grow another 7% annually through the year 2030. All right, why does this matter? Well, it's proof that consumers are prioritizing experiences over possessions. And few companies embody that evolution more authentically than the MTK Group New York. With over 35 years of experience, Michael Kaminsky has built MTK Group New York into a dynamic product and service company spanning hospitality, casino operations, family entertainment, and luxury travel. From concept to completion, Michael has turned every business into an ecosystem of excellence where innovation meets intention. And alongside him is the amazing Alanna Stetson. She's the VP and Logistics Manager of MTK Group New York. She's a powerhouse who began her journey under Michael's mentorship in 2014. And over the past decade, Alanna has helped scale MTK's ventures from private aviation to bespoke awards and luxury events, ensuring every detail reflects precision and, of course, polish. Together, they're now expanding into a new travel division, blending high-touch service with global partnerships to meet rising demand for tailored, experience-driven journeys. Welcome to the show, superstars.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
So excited to have you both. Mike, I'm going to start with you. So MTK Group New York's portfolio, I mean, I went through it all last night. It reads truly like a blueprint for diversification done right. I mean, you got from casino floors to private jets and everything in between. And when you look at it in a world where more than 80% of startups fail to scale beyond a single vertical, your success across hospitality and entertainment and travel really does stand out. What's been your secret to sustaining excellence in every venture, and what philosophy ties them all together, Mike?
I was taught a long time ago by a gentleman from Las Vegas who said to me that excellence should be a standard, not an achievement. We do all the back work on finding out what the level of excellence would truly be in that particular industry. We do everything prior, so when we open the doors, we're ready to be and prepared to give excellent service to everyone.
Yeah, it's all about the roadmap, and it's a powerful takeaway because it explains MTK's longevity, because what you've built is not small. You've built not just profit centers, but an ecosystem of trust in a rare model where consistency and leadership and passion, they all intersect. I know that you are extremely passionate about what you do in your relationships, and that was the first thing that stood out to me when I met you.
Oh, thank you. That's very nice.
Now, Alanna, operations are often the unsung hero of luxury, right? In fact, a recent McKinsey study showed that 60% of customer satisfaction in the luxury sector depends not on product, but delivery and execution. Now, you've been with MTK Group New York since the early days, and you now manage a very complex network of brands. So how do you keep the level of quality and fluidity across every division, whether it's from aviation to events, without ever losing that personal touch?
Absolutely. So something that Mike taught me really early on was that you have to have the policies and procedures in place before you can expand your network, because once you have everything already set, the groundwork is set, you're welcome, you're good to expand from there, because there's no guesswork and everything's already laid out for you.
I mean, it's impressive because you've essentially turned logistics into art. Now, Mike, over 70% of U.S. travelers now say they'd rather spend money on unique experiences versus on goods, and that's according to the Virtuoso 2025 Insights report. So tell us about MTK's new travel division. How will it deliver that sense of intimacy and customization that today's high-end traveler really craves?
We anticipate that the travel division will increase or be about 35 to 40% of our overall revenue stream. We have trips planned and locations that we're picking up daily. So we can have a trip now that's for a single couple that wants to go away, a group of family or a group of friends. We can do special events. We can do concerts. We can do Super Bowls. We can include everything from start to finish, from booking of the plane and the tickets and ground transportation. We, again, by doing all this ahead and behind before starting, is how we're able to deliver the excellence that we want.
So you're truly 360-degree full-service travel, almost like a concierge service, where you are taking care of everything from A to Z for the traveler.
Exactly. One of the premises we built MTK on, and what we learned early on, I was much younger than even Alanna is now, was that the more that you can control on an excellent level, the more parts of the desired outcome, the better the company will be. So although we have a very diverse platform of different products, the products are all tied in to the same desire to give excellent service.
Yeah, I mean, that's extraordinary because you're positioning MTK not just as a travel brand, but as a memory curator, right?
Exactly.
It's about emotional luxury, those once-in-a-lifetime moments that just can't be replicated.
Exactly.
Now, Alanna, behind every great brand, there's usually a defining moment, a time where vision meets validation, if you will. So MTK has hosted everything from high-end casino events to VIP experiences across the East Coast. Was there a particular moment or project that made you realize, hey, we've created something truly special here?
Yeah, so believe it or not, it's one of the more basic things that we do. So a gentleman came into our trophy and awards shop, just looking for medals for a church event that he was putting on. And he saw one of our roulette wheels on the table in the back corner. He's like, oh, I was looking into doing a casino event. And we're like, hey, we could do that for you. We can do X, Y, and Z. And we have engraved gifts that we can give and make a basket for your event as well. So he just came in looking for an award and we ended up being a one-stop shop for him for all of everything that he could ever need.
Yeah, shy of booking his travel.
Right? Yep, exactly. Yeah, that's next.
That's beautiful. And it's a reminder that in this business, human connection is the real currency. I mean, the way your team connects excellence to emotion is why MTK's reputation keeps growing.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, Michael, in 2024, Forbes reported that over 65% of luxury consumers now prefer brands that emphasize authenticity and ethics over opulence. And MTK's brand DNA really does feel grounded in that, delivering elegance without ego. How do you maintain that authenticity but still stay aspirational?
Another lesson I learned early on was that someone described running their business as invisible excellence. So every part of your business they should never be able to leave someplace and say one thing was excellent. That would indicate a lot of things weren't excellent. They should leave saying the experience was excellent. And by going with that premise ahead of time, saying the details, the napkins are the right napkins, the tablecloths are the right tablecloths, the mother's favorite color was red. There's something by instilling our own humbleness and our desire to make people happy is what keeps us going and expanding our business.
And that's what makes MTK Group so distinctive, Mike. It's refined yet real, right? You're proving that true luxury lives in care, not excess.
100%.
Alanna, as MTK Group New York looks towards 2026, we're just right around the corner. I mean, the company's expanding reach now includes a new travel division that we just talked about, that custom lifestyle partnership connection with experiential activations that we're talking about. And Forbes is projecting the U.S. event experience market to surpass $510 billion by 2028. What does MTK's next evolution look like within that growth landscape?
Within that, I think the biggest thing that we're going to be doing is putting together our travel, the MTK travel, and just growing that. Right now, I've been doing some research and we're putting together trips to different destinations around the world. And so doing the research for that has been a lot of fun. And it'll give people the opportunity, the once in a lifetime opportunity to fly on a private jet to somewhere for their vacation. So that'll be a lot of fun to be able to offer that to people so they can check it off their bucket list.
What an inspiring conversation. Thank you both so much for coming on today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Mike and Alanna of MTK Group, you definitely want to check them out. They're showing us that luxury isn't about price tags or prestige. It's about presence, precision, and of course, purpose. That was the Elevated Experience segment debuting right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, brought to you by the MTK Group New York. For more information, you can head directly to their website at mtkgroupny.com, and you could follow their journey on Instagram at MTK Group New York for a glimpse into their world and, of course, into those experiential experiences that are excellent. You definitely want to tune in Saturday nights right here on the Voice of New York. You're listening to A Moment of Xen on 710 WOR. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Xen is brought to you by Your Home TV with Kathy Ireland and their channel partners. Head to yourhometv.com for free, family-friendly programming, streaming 24/7.
In business and in life, there's always an upside. Finding it is often the challenge. Having a mindset that looks for it and embraces problems as opportunities is the key to thriving. Finding the upside with Maria de Lorenzis Reyes explores the transformative power of optimism, featuring visionary business owners, influential leaders, and inspiring everyday people. Tune in and see how they navigate changing conditions with optimism and innovation. Watch the special series One Tough Chick, highlighting resilient and powerful women, streaming on yourhometv.com.
Tune in to A Moment of Zen, Saturday nights from 9 to 10 p.m. on 710 WOR, the voice of New York.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Welcome back to the Clean Collective segment brought to you by Society Brands and Crunchy Collection. You know, my beautiful friends, every now and then a headline or a lawsuit pops up that reminds us all that the beauty industry has a long history of using ingredients that were standard practice until suddenly they weren't. And one of the most controversial of those ingredients is talc. Now, many consumers hear talc and they think of baby powder, pressed shadows, setting powders, products that have been in vanities for decades. But what most people don't realize is that talc is often found in the same geological formation as asbestos, a known carcinogen. And even though some companies claim their talc is asbestos-free, the truth is unsettling. Conventional testing methods have repeatedly failed to detect asbestos accurately. In other words, asbestos-free is not always what it seems. On top of that, talc is also identified as a lung irritant and linked to organ system toxicity. So when you consider the fact that many of these products are inhaled or used daily, especially by women, the risk becomes very real very quickly. And that's exactly why Crunchy took a hard stance from day one. No talc, not now, not ever. While other brands try to formulate around it or insist their suppliers test for purity, Crunchy simply said, it's not worth the risk. And that matters because talc performs beautifully in cosmetics. It's silky, it blends well, it creates that smooth, soft focus finish. It would have been the easy choice. But Crunchy chose the ethical choice. And as someone who sits in this space every day, talking with dermatologists, scientists, founders, I can tell you this. The future of beauty is transparency. Consumers are smarter, the science is clearer, and the responsibility is higher than ever. So when you hear talc, I want you to think of this moment. And remember, there are companies out there who refuse to compromise your health in the name of convenience or tradition. Crunchy is one of them. Clean, conscious, and completely talc-free. By design, not by trend. That was the Clean Collective Express segment brought to you by Society Brands. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Primal Life Organics. Still brushing with chemical paste and fluoride-era formulas? Upgrade to Primal Life's tooth powder, powered by enamel-building nano-hydroxyapatite and real organic cinnamon oil to naturally whiten, strengthen, and restore your mouth's mineral balance. No foam, no dyes, just science-backed minerals that really work. Cleaner, whiter, stronger. That's the Primal Life promise. Visit PrimalLifeOrganics.com/Zen for 15% off. Detox your smile today.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. And the Hydration with Heart segment brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut. With me is Anissa, Brooklyn-born, globally streamed, and one of the most recognizable voices rising out of New York City's new wave of pop soul storytelling. Today, she's here to share why Once Upon a Coconut is her go-to hydration on the road and in studio, and why keeping her vocals, skin, and body nourished is non-negotiable for an artist with her demanding schedule.
I found out about the company when I did my first interview with you. And you guys, you had me try it, and you're like, you know, I will be honest, I was not the biggest coconut water fan in general, because I've tried coconut water with other brands and stuff like that before, and I just never liked anything. And you were like to me, Anissa, you need to try this coconut water. And I was like, okay, what is this? Once Upon a Coconut? And then you gave me one of the flavors. I think it might have been like the chocolate flavor or something. And I was like, what is this? This is so good. Like, I was mind blown. And then from there, I just, I started casually just drinking it. And then, we connected with Once Upon a Coconut, and it just became such a natural thing. And we kind of became family in a way. And now it's a part of my everyday life. And everything that I post about it, it's all true because I actually really love this product. I love the drink. And this is like literally the only drink that I drink. I go to the gym, take it with me. Go to the studio, take it with me. Travel, I'm going to another country. I'm making sure I'm taking a bunch with me. Like, this is my staple in my everyday routine.
A Moment of Xen is brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut.
Discover the refreshing taste of 100% pure coconut water that actually tastes great. Naturally sweet with no artificial flavors or added sugar. It's packed with electrolytes to keep you hydrated throughout your day. And with 10% of profits going to charity, every sip makes a difference. Pure taste, pure goodness. Experience nature's Gatorade. Visit Once Upon a Coconut or naturesgatorade.com.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area and beyond. You're listening to A Moment of Xen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Today's Better, Brighter You segment is brought to you by Cespera, the clinically proven gold standard for stubborn pigmentation and melasma. We're diving into one of the most widespread and emotional skin concerns women face, the pigment puzzle. What we know is that melasma affects over 6 million women in the United States. Hyperpigmentation is the number one reason women seek professional treatment worldwide. And according to the American Academy of Dermatology, 80% of visible aging is tied to UV exposure, making discoloration a universal concern. And in Dallas, where beauty is a lifestyle and women invest boldly in themselves, the stakes are even higher, which brings me to today's guest. Kendra Tilleman, founder of Skinfinity Dallas, lives by one simple truth. She says, I'm not just in this industry because I love beauty. I'm in it because I love beautiful women. For more than a decade, she's created a beauty space where women don't just get results, they feel seen, supported, and elevated. Her clients describe Skinfinity as a place where confidence is rebuilt and beauty becomes personal. Kendra blends warmth with expertise, offering everything from injectables and facials to advanced skin rejuvenation, lasers, microneedling, and full body wellness. She invests in the best technology because her clients expect the best, and she delivers. At Skinfinity, beauty doesn't expire, it evolves. And with Kendra, it evolves with purpose, care, and connection. Today's headliner, the Dallas Glow Code. How one aesthetic visionary is changing the way we treat pigment, melasma, and modern aging. Welcome to the show, superstar.
Thank you for having me today.
So let's chat your practice insight and the Dallas market. So Dallas is known for its high expectations. People there take skincare very seriously. They invest in it and they show up informed. And Skinfinity has carved out a uniquely loyal following, to my understanding. So you've become a staple in one of the most aesthetic forward cities in our country. What do you feel makes your practice stand out in the Dallas market? And what are clients coming to you for most right now?
We definitely do a lot of research. We kind of have something for everyone, from men to women. We're seeing a lot of people come in for hyperpigmentation. We see a lot of people come in for skin tightening, biostimulators, injectables like neurotoxin. We also provide things for women's health, like incontinence, and we offer peptides now also. So the world is your oyster here.
You do it all, and I love that. It speaks
pretty much.
It speaks volumes that your clients stay with you for years, because that only happens when trust and results align. So let's chat social media and treatment trends, where it's at right now. I mean, we're living in an era where TikTok trends and viral skincare hacks influence how patients show up to their consultations. And sometimes they come in with realistic expectations, and sometimes, not so much. So with social media driving so much of the aesthetics conversation, what shifts have you noticed in patient expectations, both in the treatment they ask for and the results they anticipate?
I love how people will see videos of like the Nefertiti lift, or they want something like, oh, I saw this injection. Can you do this? And it's like new ways to tighten the neck that people, and the jawline that people didn't know was a thing that you could do with neurotoxins. So I do love the fact that people are watching social media so much and wanting to try new things. And it's just such a good industry to be in. There's so much technology changing every day, and we just love what we do.
Yes, exactly. Now let's chat on something that you mentioned. You have a specialist for everything, and you mentioned hyperpigmentation. You mentioned the word. Oh gosh.
Yes.
So let's talk about melasma education. Now, pigment is one of those conditions that is widely misunderstood. It's chronic, it's hormonal, it's inflammatory, and it behaves differently in every skin type. What do you wish more patients understood about pigment before they began treatment?
Well, a lot of women come in, or men, they come in and they think that they need a heavy duty laser. But this is something I'm trying to inform my patients that having a laser treatment too often is what's thinning their skin, and the heat is not going to help their melasma. It might help it temporarily, and they get a laser treatment, it looks great, but then they're going to get out in the sun and it's going to come right back. So this is why I'm really loving things like Cysvera, because it's helping them in the long term. It's going to actually maintain, instead of them thinning their skin with all these lasers and then damaging their skin. I love Cysvera, so I'm using it myself.
And the good news about Cysvera is that they're clinically verified, clinically proven, and they're hydroquinone free. And that's a major,
I love the fact that it's hydroquinone
upside.
free.
Yeah, because that safety and efficacy is always at the forefront when I'm thinking of products for myself, right? So let's chat about your treatment philosophy. You've built a reputation on customization, which is so critical because pigment requires strategy, not guesswork. So when a patient comes to you with stubborn discoloration, what does your treatment philosophy look like? How do you determine whether they need devices, injectables, topical support, or even just a combination?
I usually love to start them on Cysvera to pre-treat. They need to pre-treat before they're going to get an IPL, say, for example, or a heavy-duty laser treatment. So I love pre-treating with Cysvera. And then it's something they will continue to use after their treatment as well. You can use it on all skin types. You can use it anywhere on your body. Like if someone has discoloration in their underarm area or inner thighs, I use it on a scar that we tried so many different options on this scar, including laser treatments. The one thing that I told my Cysvera rep, I was like, I'm so happy. It's the one treatment that has helped my scar look better. And it's a scar that's goes across my abdomen. So it's kind of one of those scars that you don't want to see. Like it shows a little bit in my bathing suit. So trying to fix that has been almost impossible. And this is the one treatment that I have found that is helping it.
Wow.
Another thing is we had a client that came to us who had a laser treatment somewhere else, and they had the rings from the laser all over their abdomen.
Oh,
a terrible place to have scars. This wasn't a fresh treatment that she had. So we caught her at a very early time and she started applying the Cysvera, and you don't see those circles anymore.
That's game changer. Now, one thing I love about aesthetic medicine is that outcomes aren't just aesthetic, they're emotional, because pigment can deeply affect confidence. So is there a particular success story or patient transformation using Cysvera that stands out, something that illustrates why it's become a go-to for pigment correction in your practice?
I do have a patient who has had several laser treatments through the years. Like she'll come in, she'll do her 2 to 3 IPLs a year because she suffers with hyperpigmentation. But I really pushed her away from doing this anymore. Like I don't want to do any lasers on her face because the heat from the IPL is not doing her any favors. It looks great for a little bit, and then she's just getting her melasma right back. So she's using the Cysvera on her face, and she can tell a difference. She's only been using it for a month, but you can see a difference in her face already with all of her melasma and the hyperpigmentation that she has. So she's very excited about it.
That's powerful. And an emotional shift, without a doubt, is happening within her, because when a woman looks in the mirror and you start to see something correct itself, it makes you feel really good, both on the inside and out. And it's exactly why these conversations matter, because the mirror is a direct reflection, no pun intended, of who you are.
Women don't want to walk around with full face of makeup all the time. That's the whole point of doing treatments with Skinfinity, for example, is they want to look good without makeup on.
Yeah, that's the most important part. Well, Kendra, thank you so much for sharing your expertise. I love that we had the melasma conversation, especially now that you are entering a new chapter for 2026 at your incredible practice. Congratulations on all your growth and your success, and
Thank you.
those fantastic treatment rooms back there that I heard about. I can't wait to check. I can't wait to check them out next time I'm in Dallas.
Yes, please come see us.
And for everyone listening, if you're struggling with melasma, sun damage, uneven tone, or just want guidance from somebody who understands both the science and the art of healthy skin, do connect with Kendra and her team at Skinfinity Dallas. You can check them out directly on the gram at Skinfinity Dallas. You can check her out directly on her page at Kendra Tilleman 78. And you can go to their website, skinfinitydallas.com. And to learn more about today's segment sponsor, Cespera, the clinically proven system trusted worldwide for pigmentation, you could check them out directly on Instagram at Cespera or on the website at cespera.com. This has been the Better, Brighter You segment exclusively on A Moment of Zen. Stay radiant, stay informed, and as always, keep stepping into the best version of you. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Cespera. If skin discoloration is making it hard to find your Zen, Cespera can help. Stubborn pigmentation, dark spots, and uneven skin tone concerns go beyond the surface, affecting both confidence and self-expression. In a sea of skincare choices, Cespera stands apart. Backed by science and trusted by dermatologists worldwide, Cespera is powered by the advanced cysteamine isobonic amide complex, delivering clinically proven results and effectively targeting mild to persistent discoloration while restoring the skin's natural glow. Unlike harsh treatments, Cespera is formulated for all skin types, including sensitive areas, ensuring visible improvements without irritation. Whether pigmentation is a new concern or a long-standing struggle, Cespera works in harmony with the skin to bring balance, clarity, and renewed confidence. Cespera is science-driven skincare for confidence that shines. Find your skin zen and restore your glow with Cespera today by heading to Cespera.com.
Well, that's a wrap, my beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Remember to join me right here on A Moment of Zen every Saturday, and head to amomentofzen.com for live listening links and episode downloads in your city. And also remember that we're live on Traverse TV Sundays at 1 p.m. Eastern, YouTube Sundays at 2 p.m. Eastern, and all episodes of A Moment of Zen are available on your home TV streaming platform. You could head directly to our channel at mox.yourhometv.com. Worldwide, family-friendly distribution, free to you. Thank you for listening to us. It's been an absolute pleasure being your host. Thanks again to all of our sponsors that continue to make this show possible. And remember that happiness is the only thing that multiplies when you share it. Remember to join me right here on 710 WR, the voice of New York, every Saturday night from 9 to 10 p.m. We'll be back next week.